everyone, and welcome to my new video. And what is this video about? Well, it's time to make some generative beats in MaxMSP. What do I mean by generative? Well, I mean that they're going to kind of do their own thing, exist, make their own decisions, leave it to chance. And also, I'm not going to use any sequencers. This is all going to be done using signals, DSP, MSP, a little bit of gen, tilde. I'm going to make all the beats, the sounds, the drum sounds, all from scratch using synthesis. And then I'm going to use signal processing to generate triggers to make them make beats. And we'll see how we get on. So first things first, I'm going to need an easy DAC. And I'm going to need a transport and a toggle to turn that transport on and off. Let's zoom in a little bit. Put that up there. Right, and we're going to need a phaser, and I'm going to tell my phaser to go at 1.0.0 at lock 1. And what that means is that it's going to ramp from 0 to 1 over the course of a bar at the tempo, which I think is 120 at the moment. So actually, okay, the transport's off. So maybe I might just do a little rewind message here. Yeah, so, okay, so when I turn the transport on, that is going to start ramping from 0 to 1. So that is going to kind of be our top level sort of clock, ramp, whatever, driving the whole thing. So I'll put a comment here, top. That will do fine. Okay, so now what I want to do is make a sort of sample and hold probability kind of trigger system to, well, I might even make the whole thing in gen. I don't know yet. I'll see how I feel as I go. But to start with, I'm going to make like a kind of trigger, like a sort of, yeah, random, not random trigger, but kind of chance-based trigger. I'm going to do that in gen. So let's make a gen thing here. Let's open this up. It's rather big. Let's move it over here. And maybe I can just do this. Yes. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a copy of that live scope, put that there so we can look at the output of our gen patch. And I'm going to multiply the incoming phaser by 16. Well, actually, I should plug the phaser in first. So I'm going to plug this top level phaser into this gen patch. Okay, and then it's going to get multiplied by 16, come out the other side. And it's now ramping from 0 to 15 or 16, but we don't want that. We want it to ramp back down to 1. So I'm going to do a modulo 1. Okay, so now what I've done is I've effectively kind of divided that ramp into 16th note versions of itself. And they should all be nicely synced up. And if I stop the transport and rewind and start it again, it's all nicely in sync. All right, so we've got a little 16th note division of our top phaser. Now I kind of want to make a little like a trigger. So you can, I'm going to make a sample and hold. You can use sample and hold SAH in MaxMSP. I sometimes don't get results from that I would like. I'm not sure why. I think maybe I'm just using it wrong. So I'm just going to make my own one in gen. So I'm going to make a noise. And I'm going to make, I'm going to take the absolute value of that noise. So now all of that noise is going between 0 and 1. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, okay, that's all good. And then I'm going to take a latch and I'm going to sample that noise, which is the input. Input to sample, right, okay. So I'm going to sample that noise from this 16th note ramp. But I'm going to need to do some stuff first. So let's do greater than 0.5 of those 16th note ramps. Let's have a look. Okay, so now they're kind of squares. Squares might work. Let's have a look. Let's see if squares work. No, that's not right. Okay, so what we're going to do is take the delta of those signals, and then what we get out there is we get that. That's interesting. Okay, let's just see what that. Let's see what that looks like. Let's use that to trigger the latch. Okay, I'm fairly confident that that's a 16th note sample and hold. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Okay, that's fine. So there's our 16th note sample and hold. But I need to turn that into triggers. So I'm going to make, maybe I'll make a param here, and I'll call it chance. I'll set the min to 0 and the max to 1. And then let's make a less than operator or greater. Let's start with greater than and say greater than chance. Okay, and then back in our main patch, we'll right click the gen. There's our chance parameter. And then if I increase this, yeah, so now we're getting triggers, but some of them are high. So if we put this to, yeah, I think I've done that the wrong way around. Let's try less than chance. And then set this to 0. And then increase this up to, okay, so 1, that is high. Okay, that's good. That's actually good. So with a high chance, that is now going to be high. And with a low chance, that's going to be 0. And then if I set it at 0.5, that's like a 50% chance. So that is, that I've created like a gate. So I can use that gate to pass through the deltas, or at least only the, okay, maybe I've put that greater than in the wrong place. Let's try it here. No. Let's try less than. Oh, damn it. Let's put that back in there. Go on, get back in there. Right, okay. Maybe I could just take the absolute. I don't think they're 16ths anymore, though. No, that looks more like 32. Okay. Damn it. Okay, apologies everyone, I made a slight error, but I've worked it out now, and actually what I needed to do was delta and then greater than 0, and then now I've got my 16th note pulses, which I can then use to trigger the latch, which is going to give me my sample and hold, and then I can have my gate open and close based on this chance. Right now I can use that to multiply, basically use that as a gate to let those pulses through. So let's do this multiplied by this and send that out. Okay, now we've got some random triggers. Well, they're not random, but like they're 16th note triggers with a 50% chance that they're going to pass through. That is okay. Right, that will do for gen. Let's maybe just make the gen patch a little neater. Let's maybe just do that. Yeah, that'll do. Right, okay, let's close that. And now let's make a kick drum of sorts. Right, so now that we've got this trigger, we can do loads of stuff with it. So to start with, I'm going to make a cycle with no frequency. I'm going to make a multiply with 0, connect that in there. And I'll make a live gain. So that we can control the volume. Now, I can take this trigger signal and slide it into a kind of decaying envelope. So I'm going to make a new object, slide tilde, with a slide up of 0 and a slide down of, let's say, 1,000 samples. Right, now we've got this baby. And we can use that to sweep the pitch of our kick drum and indeed decrease the amplitude of the cycle. So let's take that. Okay, we're going to need another multiply here. And I'll just quickly make a float here. And then this float is going to specify the starting frequency of the sweep. And then it'll just sweep back down to 0 like most kick drums do. Right, let's plug that in there. Plug that in there, and let's say start at 100. Okay, and then let's take the same slide out into the multiplier, and then that's going to decrease the volume. So now if we connect this to our speaker, let's put the speaker here and have a listen. What do we get? Oh, my volume's down on my mixer. There we go. We've got a kick drum. Funky kick drum. And then if I increase this to say something like 200, get more click. tasty. Let's stay at 200. Now, the amount of slide could be set by this inlet. So let's just make a integer here. I'll put a comment, decay, and let's neaten this up a little bit. Right. Now this works in samples. I don't want to, there's a lot of samples per second. Don't really want that. So what I might do is use ms2samps to convert this number to samples. Will it take a signal in? Yes, it does. Right. So if I make a number here and type in for 500 milliseconds. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. So that's calculated that 500 milliseconds is 24,000 samples. That is very nice. So we've got our decay there. And we can do a little bit of pitch sweeping here. And maybe I might do like a low pass. Let's do a one pole at, say, let's start at 1,000 just to take out a bit of those. Okay, and indeed we could, if we wanted to, make that a bit less clicky. Stay with. All right, we kind of got her. That's almost kind of a Roland kick drum synthesis thing, right? Let's do the same thing now for a snare. So we're going to have to think about how we're going to do that. Yeah. Okay. Shut up, kick drum. Okay. Let's think about this. We've got to make a snare. So a snare, we don't want the snare going all 16ths. We kind of want it to go where it would go, which would be on the 2 and the 4. So we're going to have to divide our top phaser somehow. Okay, let's start with a copy of this stuff. Put that over there and bring in some noise, and we'll just sort of add those together and they can go in this multiplier, and that's going to be our sort of snare drum. We're going to have to take a copy of all this as well. Yeah, let's do that. Let's put that there. Okay, a snare drum. I'm patching whilst I'm thinking about the snare drum. So what about if we start by dividing the phaser by 2, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. I need to pause and think about this. Okay, I think I've got an idea. We could maybe do this in this gen patch. So let's multiply this by 4 and close that. Run this phaser into this gen patch and have a look at what it gives us on the way out. Nothing at all. Okay, let's give it a 0.9% chance. Okay, let's line that up with our top phaser and see where that's happening. Okay, it's happening at the start. Okay, that is all right. No, okay, that's too many. We need to divide. Oh my goodness me. We need to divide by 2 then. No, it does need to be 4. Okay. I'm getting really confused, but that's because I deliberately made this challenging for myself. So let's actually, I tell you what, we could actually just listen to it. So let's sweep the amplitude of our cycle. God, this is already getting messy. Let's put that there and that there. Okay, it's a bit of a mess. Let's just see what it sounds like. Set starting frequency of 200 and then a decay time here of say 400. Okay, now we're getting some signal there. Let's connect that to our Easy DAC. Let's see what we get. Yeah, that's not. Let's try 2. Divide by 2 then. Okay. Okay, that'll do. Yeah, all right. So let's do the same thing now for a hi-hat. We're going to have to zoom out a little bit. So I'll take a copy of this stuff. Hi-hats are nice and simple. Let's get some noise here. And do a 1 pole at 5,000. And then add that to the noise, I think. This is how you can do a high pass with a low pass. I might be wrong. Might have to be the other way around. Oh gosh, that's loud. Okay. I can't remember how to do that. So we'll just use a state variable filter, and we'll come out of the high pass output, and we'll make a integer here for the frequency. Let's say 5,000. There we go. That's better. Right, and then let's multiply that by our gen thing here. Oh, wrong way round. Actually, it doesn't matter, but let's do it. Do it the right way. Okay. Oh god, it's very hard to make this stuff look logical. Okay, let's take our top phaser, plug that into our gen patch down here, give it a chance of say 0.75, decay of 100. By that. Let's oh my goodness me, let's put this in here. Oh, I'm not plugged in the high pass output. There we go. All right, so I'll just put that in. Let's say what's that, 24? That's a little bit much. Let's say 7,000. Cool. We've got some generative beats, kind of. Well, they're sort of not really generative, but like they've got a little bit of probability. They might do some stuff, but actually, I can do a little bit more now with our sort of sample and hold idea. Let's make a new gen patch and go into that. I'm going to try that. Actually, I could just take a copy of this one again. Let's just copy this. Yeah, that's kind of fine. I just need to take, let's maybe divide this by 8. Take our top phaser, plug that into this gen patch. Oh, and we're going to need to set a chance here. Well, actually, I kind of want the chance to be, well, to not really matter too much. Let's say 0.5. Okay, all right, this is good. All right, I don't want... Yeah, actually, I just want the output of the sample and hold for this. We don't need that. Let's see what we have. Okay, cool. So we've got a nice sample and hold here. I'm going to use this to modulate the decay time of all of these drum sounds. They're all going to have their own little decay modulator. So this is working from 0 to 1. All right, I'll turn it down a little bit. This is working from 0 to 1. So I'm simply going to multiply this by, I'm working in milliseconds and then converting it to samples. So I'm going to say multiply by 2,000 Oh, need a tilde there. And I'm going to clip it at around 10 and let's say 10 float and 2000, so that if it does anything beneath 10, it won't. It'll stick at 10. Right, let's just try it with this snare. Let's maybe disconnect this temporarily. And yeah. Yeah, you can hear how that snare is getting smaller and larger. Let's maybe make this bigger. Let's say 20 milliseconds, a bit much. Let's try 5. Funky. Yeah. Let's take a copy of this. Do the same thing here. Same for the hi-hat. And then the same for the kick. Where's that? Oh, that's all the way over there. Okay, let's move that over there. Okay, this one I'll clip at 100. Ah, I know why, because I'm not... Will this take a signal input? Will MS to samps take it? Yes, it will. Okay, right. Sorry, everyone. Did that wrong. Okay. So we're going to go into the MS to samps. Yeah. That's what I was expecting. Do the same for all of these. Don't want those anymore. No parameters. All chance. Okay. Too much. 500. And this one will clip at 10 and 500. Still a little bit much. Let's say 250 on the snare. What's coming out of this? Actually, I could just multiply the... Okay. Okay, this actually doesn't need to be multiplied by 2000 anymore, and indeed this one doesn't need to be multiplied by 2000, it's multiplied by 250. Yeah. Yeah, I could get into this. This little funky electro thing. Just vibing about. All right, that's kind of really all I wanted to do, really. Just the little sort of drum beat generator thing. Just using signals, no sequencers, no sort of MIDI or anything like that. Yeah. Slightly less chance on the hi-hat. Slightly more chance. So if all the way up, we just get 16ths. Pretty good. All right, let's stop the transport. Okay, so there you go. There's a little sort of, God, it's a bit of a mess, isn't it? I just want to make it look a little bit nicer. Let's put that there and maybe that up there. Yeah, that all looks a little bit better. Let's select all, go Shift, Command Shift Y. Yeah, there we go. comments. Drums. All right, so there you go. There's a little quick idea for generating and indeed designing drum sounds and drum beats in Max using only signals and a little bit of gen. Okay, I'm going to go and put this on my Patreon now, where if you'd like to support me there for a reasonable price of $5 a month, you can get and download this patch and loads of stuff to do with Max and Ableton and all kinds of stuff. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. I'm sure you know by now. All right, there you go. Have a nice time. Happy patching, as they say in Max land. Okay, cool. See you next time. Bye.